Hello America, this is Malcolm Evans coming at you live and direct, or pre-recorded and pre-edited, coming at you Bernie Mac style, talking to you America. So basically I've decided to have a subgenre of the Me Going In brand. Instead of always just doing roasts, this time I'm going to do a movie review segment. I mean, basically I realized that I see so many movies in the span of a year that it would be effective, let's just say, if I were to make reviews of movies that come out in the span of a year, and based off of what I may or may not like, you guys can judge for yourselves what you may or may not like from what I saw. And so that way you don't always have to waste money that I already wasted money on. So, it's been a while since I've been to the movies. I've been planning on doing this for about a month now, but I've been maybe 35, almost 45 days since the last time I seen a movie, so for me that's like 2 whole years. But yeah, so I finally got a movie. Went to the movies about less than 24 hours ago. Saw a good picture. It's called The Magnificent Seven. I'm going to break the movies down to basically 5 easily edible parts of what I believe that most people are going to be most interested in, and what you would be looking for in a movie based off of what I would be looking for in a movie. So, number 1, summary. So, summary of The Magnificent Seven is basically, it's a movie where a guy is hired to save a townspeople from another guy who is trying to steal the town. So, yeah, that's the summary. So as far as what the movie is basically feeling like, it's a Western. It definitely has that John Wayne-esque kind of feel as far as how the movie plays out. If you've ever seen that old kind of Western movie where it's like a tumbleweed going and they got that do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, so it basically has that vibe to it. It definitely pays homage to Western movies that came before. Directed by Antoine Fuqua, I believe I'm saying that name correctly, starring Denzel Washington and a few others. Definitely interesting how some of the things play out. Who's involved? So like I just said, the people that are involved in the movie is directed by Antoine Fuqua. If you are not familiar with who that guy is, that's the director of the movie Training Day, a few other movies. He might have been the director of Inside Man. No, Inside Man, I think that was Spike Lee. So Training Day is the most famous movie off the top of my head that I know that he directed. I think he might have directed one of the Fast and Furious. Anyways, it stars Denzel Washington as the lead character. He also is starring Chris Pratt. You have Vincent D'Onofrio, the big guy from Law and Order SVU, or if you are a Marvel Netflix watcher, he plays Kingpin in The Punisher in the Daredevil series. The other actors are Ethan Hawke, who also was in Training Day with Denzel Washington, and then the other actors are like really obscure, but the cast is very diverse. It's Denzel Washington as the lead character. He's a black guy, if you didn't know. You have Chris Pratt, who's this kind of wily, witty, thief, con artist kind of guy. Then you have this Ethan Hawke, who is like a former Confederate fighter in the Civil War, who has, you know, his own issues, and his Asian compadre, who's like this hardcore badass assassin dude. And then you have Vincent, who plays like this old bear-like guy with this really small voice, even though he has this big body, who also is like super religious. He's a very funny character. Then you have this Hispanic Mexican dude who basically plays the Spanish Mexican dude, and then you have a Native American guy, and that makes up the Magnificent Seven, because it's 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plot. So the way the plot plays out is the main bad guy, played by an actor whose name I don't know and did not research, decides that, hey, I'm going to roll up on this little hick town because they may or may not have gold in their town, and I am going to run all the people out so that way I can own the land and have what all bad guys typically want, which is power. So he comes in, he's causing all types of harm and, you know, laying waste to people and whatever. He gives them a set amount of time to get out or die. So the town people scrounge up the little bit of cash and resources that they have, and they go find a bounty hunter slash federal officer who is Denzel Washington's character, Sam Chisholm. So he feels aligned with what's happening to the main people, and he decides that, all right, fine, I'll help you. So he assembles a crew of people that just so happen to be in the general vicinity of him. So Chris Pratt, who was in the bar that he was in, and then some Mexican dude that's like a rogue combatant of some kind that they have to go find, and he decides, hey, I won't bring you in for a bounty if you join my crew. And then they also find Vincent's character, who was like this wilderness kind of guy who reluctantly joins later on in the film. Then they have Ethan Hawke, who goes way back with Denzel Washington's character, and his compadre, who is the Asian fella that is like a hardcore assassin. And then like later on in the movie, they interact with this Native American dude who just kind of like, yeah, sure, why not, I'll join. It's definitely a diverse set of people, and they end up, you know, getting into conflict with the main guy, and things, you know, play out pretty much how you can imagine how a Denzel Washington movie plays out. He's the hero. He does hero shit. Pacing. I believe that pacing is a very important part of a film. Understanding how long it takes to go from exposition, which is the background information that you don't know about the movie beforehand, then going to character development, which allows you to really feel and engage with the characters, and then the action, which is ultimately what we're always there for. Because if it takes too long to go from one to the other, or if you go from one to the other too fast, then you typically lose something. I feel like the director paced the movie out interestingly. Like, the action in the beginning is very quick, and you definitely instantly feel for the characters, so those two things are established very, very, very smoothly in the beginning. But then backstory on the characters, like the Magnificent Seven, is very flimsy. I guess because you have 7 characters and you're trying to evenly disperse character development without dwelling on character development for so long that you feel like you never get to the action. So sometimes the movie feels as though you engage with these guys that they have a loose reasoning for being there. It's defined, but it's not super defined. Like, some guys might be there for a solid reason, like, yeah, I know you from way back, so yeah, I'll fight with you. But then others, it's just like, I ain't got nothing else going on, so yeah, sure, why not? I'll just, you know, fight to maybe the death for you random stranger guy that I met 30 minutes ago. I feel like the worst part of the pacing for the movie is probably around the second before the third act, where the action has basically stopped for a set amount of time because they have to move into what is going to be the third act and setting all of that up. And that's a moment where I feel as though more backstory on these Magnificent Seven could have been established, but instead it was utilized doing other things. Not my favorite choice, but hey, I'm not the director. So, recommendation. Would I recommend this movie to you, the people? If you came up to me and you were like, Malcolm, I heard that you saw the Magnificent Seven. What do you think about it? I would definitely rate the movie out of 5 stars a 3.5. So that is at least a 70%. I would definitely say if you are willing to go to the movies to pay for a ticket, if you like Denzel Washington, if you're familiar with the director, if you like westerns, or if you just like watching people get shot, then it's definitely the type of movie for you. If you're a person that likes a good solid story, unpredictability, or maybe some type of deep character development, it may not be the most fun for you. If watching things blow up and people getting shot isn't your favorite thing, you should probably wait for it to come on Netflix. It's definitely a good movie. See it at some point in your life. If you want to go to the movies to see it, I've basically outlined the reasons why you would do so. Western, Denzel Washington, people getting shot in the face. Anything other than looking for those very specific things, you might be either bored, uninterested, or mildly even confused. But even with all those things said, it's definitely a good movie. All the actors did a phenomenal job. Directing is very well done. Editing, solid, no real complaints. Like I said, it falls into a few cliches, but I think that's more so trying to pay homage to previous Western movies, which is something that you probably don't see as much nowadays. The superhero genre has really kind of replaced the Western genre as far as general audience popularity is concerned, but it's definitely refreshing to see something that was popular back in the day kind of still show that it has a little oomph in today's time and place. So that's my conclusion. This has been a Me Going In movie review production. If you liked what you saw, share it with your friends, like, comment, do whatever you gotta do. Be you, I'ma be me, and like I used to say, stay frosty.